I heard it last night. Not the wind, not the owls, the tree itself. The oak in the middle of the forest whispered my name. And when I pressed my hand to its bark, something pressed back, from the inside. If you're ready to step into a place where roots remember, where the soil itself hums with voices older than the stars, hit that like button, subscribe, and prepare yourself. This is not just a story about a tree, it's about the forest waking up. The oak had stood for nearly 1,000 years. Its crown brushed the sky, its roots drank deep from a black river of soil. Through its rings of wood, whole centuries were carved, the rise of kingdoms, the fall of empires, the fires of war, the quiet births and louder deaths of men. Humans passed, but the oak endured. Its voice was not one of sound, but of pressure, of whispering through the filaments of fungi that spidered across the ground. Moss clung to its bark like old friends. Stones at its base leaned in, heavy with secrets. The oak remembered. It remembered everything. And then, for the first time in centuries, it felt threatened. One morning, vibrations shuddered through the soil. Metallic, shrill, alien. Machines. The oak's roots curled in pain as bulldozers scraped against the edge of the forest. Voices, bright, careless, human voices, argued about plots and development permits. The oak did not understand their language of greed. But it understood intent. Through the fungal web, it pulsed its memory. Each filament carried signals, slow, deliberate waves of thought, like ink bleeding across parchment. The mushrooms listened. The moss swelled green, alive with the old words of the oak. And then the forest answered. 1,000 small voices rose, overlapping. The chatter of beetles. The hum of roots. The sigh of buried seeds. They remembered, too. They always had. But tonight, they would act. The first human to hear the oak was a worker. He wandered too close at dusk, touching the bark as if to measure it. His palm rested on its cracked skin. The oak pulsed. And the man felt it. Not words, not at first. More like the weight of centuries pressing into his skull. He staggered, gasping, his mind filled with images, knights riding beneath branches, plagues burying bodies in the soil, children carving initials with knives already rusted to dust. Then came the voice, slow and guttural, echoing through the marrow of his bones. Do not cut. We remember. He tore his hand away, but the imprint lingered. Even as he stumbled back to camp, even as his friends laughed at his pale face, the oak's memory coiled in him. He dreamed that night of roots crawling through his veins. From that night onward, the workers changed. One heard scratching under his bunk, though no rats were found. Another coughed soil, dark and wet, from his lungs. And when they slept, they all dreamed the same dream. They were underground, blind, moving through endless tunnels of root and fungus. Their bodies were no longer their own, they pulsed with sap, their skin cracking to let new growth through. They awoke screaming, dirt under their fingernails. Still, the machines returned each dawn. And each dawn, the forest deepened its resistance. Trees shifted slightly, their trunks leaning where they should not. Paths bent in circles. Compass needles spun madly. And the oak's roots reached farther than ever before. They touched basements, graveyards, cellars. They brushed against coffins long forgotten, and what lay within whispered back. We are not alone. We are never alone. Soil remembers. Bones remember. The forest is older than the sun, older than their glass towers. We do not ask. We do not beg. We bind. One worker, half mad, pressed his ear to the oak's bark and begged, "What do you want?" The reply was slow, resonant, shaking the ground. To remain. To remember. To root. And you, to join. On the 7th night, the forest bloomed unnaturally. Mushrooms burst from the soil, glowing faintly blue. Vines crept across bulldozers, metal groaning as if suffocated. The workers, frantic, fled toward the clearing, only to find the path looping back again and again. The oak pulsed one last message, and this time, all of them heard it, inside their skulls, through their blood. You build, you forget. We endure, we remember. Now you will too. And the men felt their feet sink into the soil. Their skin cracked, bark pushing through. Their screams pitched into rustling leaves. By dawn, where 10 men once stood, 10 young trees swayed gently, rooted forever in the clearing. The developers never returned. And still the oak stands. Taller. Wider. Remembering not only the centuries behind it, but the fresh memories of those who tried to destroy it. If you walk that forest path today, you might swear the trees are watching. You might feel the ground hum beneath your boots. And if you lean close, just close enough to touch the bark, maybe the oak will remember you too. If this story left you looking twice at the trees outside your window, hit that like button. And tell me in the comments, what's the strangest thing nature has ever shown you? Don't forget to subscribe, because next time, we're diving into a place even stranger than the roots beneath your feet.